good day. Before I even get started on this video here, I'm just going to throw in a little disclaimer in that I have not had a beer yet today, and for some reason, no matter how much I try to adjust my tripod or the table, my little makeshift turntable, anything like that, it seems like this tree is just leaning this way a little bit, and I don't know if it's fixable. It's a little bit better when I spin it around like that. But anyhow, this is one of my Ficus Microcarpa, and I've shared several times that these were all sold to me as Green Island. I get corrected all the time that they're Long Island or Panda or any kind of a list of names that people call them locally. Sometimes I just give up and call them Ficus Microcarpa. It doesn't really bother me at all. A little over 8 months ago, I made a video with this, and I titled the video "When to Defoliate a Ficus Tree." And basically, you really shouldn't defoliate them. I mean, when they don't have any energy. If you want to go back and watch that video, I'll post a link to that video in the description. I kind of over-explained it a little bit. But you know, when you want back budding, you prune the tips off. You defoliate if you just kind of want to get in and just open it up, let some air inside, and just be able to maybe make some twig selection and stuff. Which that's what I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to go in and pretty much defoliate the whole thing. But it is, we're heading into winter time here in Florida. You can see that it's got plenty of energy built up. You can probably also see just some random yellow leaves here and there. And it's just that time of year. There's a little bit less light out and everything. And it just really, it doesn't need this much of a canopy, for the rest of the winter. And my idea right now is I'm going to get in and I'm going to take out, you can see some of these, especially when you don't, the last time when I did that video, I didn't really prune, I just defoliated, and it'll wind up with really big leaves on here. And there's a feather. Sometimes I get some random stuff in my yard out of nowhere. So I got distracted by that feather, but like I said, the leaves are just getting, pretty large. But what I was doing is I wanted to make a nice tight canopy on this tree, and I wanted to have a few of these bigger Microcarpa without having to do a bunch of wiring. I wanted to make this one a clip and grow. So I would like to stay with that idea of a clip and grow. This is the proposed front that I'm back around to it. But I'm going to go ahead and get in here, and since I only defoliated it in March and I haven't had a chance to do anything to it since, it's gotten some rather long branches coming out here, and some of them even in some bad positions. And so I'll take out the twigs I don't like, defoliate everything else, and then just kind of see what it is I've got. My plan is this spring is to get in and then cut every growing tip and then just start working on some leaf reduction from there. Alright, first thing I'm going to do is work my way around the base of the tree. And as I work my way around the base of the tree, I'll also try to catch some of these branches that just, Ficus always get these ones that just kind of droop down and come straight down off of some of the branches there. And it's also really good back budding on old wood. Sometimes I'll get some branches that I want to keep, but most of these that come down here on the trunk, I'd like to have this as a clean trunk one day. Sometimes it's really hard for me to tell what you guys can see, what you can't see. There are just a ton of aerial roots hanging down here, and this is this year, this coming up spring, this tree will be in the pot for 4 years. And some of my theories on what makes aerial roots is being pot bound, having plenty of foliage, and then of course there's a good one there, and then of course the climate here in Florida. And so I've got all three of those. There's some other theories I have. I mean, being protected from the wind, and then of course a lot of these will just kind of this one's almost reaching the ground here. But a lot of these will shrivel up through the winter time here. It's not much I can do about it. Wintertime we get windy, we get some dry winds. before I get too deep in here and get to any wanting to do any big time lapse or anything like that, I did want to just kind of mention that there's one stump coming up here all by itself. Really only has this foliage on here, and then all of this is coming off of a little tiny stump that just comes off the edge. As much as sometimes I want to eliminate the whole group just because I feel like it's kind of taken from the view of the trunk a little bit, I've had a few instances where some of these with some rotten pieces in the middle have caused like some rot where it's spread. And so I feel like if I chop this whole thing off, I'd be afraid that maybe the stump would die and maybe the I don't know, the death of it would just kind of spread into the clump. So I'm trying to leave these, you know, I guess alive, if you will, and just maybe addressing either removing them or trying to separate them a little bit better whenever I go to repot. As I was rolling along, battery ran out on this camera again. I think I've worn these batteries out. It's time for me to order some more. I actually think I'm going to do that and return this camera to its rightful owner and order one for myself. And just out of curiosity, if anybody has any input, this is a Canon M50. From what I can tell, a Canon R10 is a nice little step up from that. Gives me the same 4K shooting without having to crop it, which kind of enables me to get some better close-ups and stuff. It's going to cut me, you know, put me back about $1,000. I'm looking at some other ones, but they're all ranging right around almost double the price. And, you know, I'm not making any money off this channel or anything like that. It's really just for fun, so I think I'm going to stick with the R10. If anybody's got some thoughts, I sure would like to hear it. But I got done cleaning up the base. I did cut off a few of these twigs down here, and I was kind of messing around with them. That was right around when the batteries ran out. Not really sure exactly when they did. I'd like for these to kind of maybe come up a little more. I know as I've been letting them kind of like live, I've been hoping the sun would draw them up some more. When I put it outside, I may even find a little rock to put in there and come back around. Amazing how much more organized the other side looks compared to this side. But I'm going to go ahead and start working the canopy. Alright, and that'll pretty much do it till spring. Really, it's almost hard for me to resist just coming in and cutting all these tips off. But I do think it's just best for the health of the tree, just kind of let it continue grow like this over the winter. I actually have one very similar to it that I may go ahead and cut back and get some wire on now. But I do think just for my goals of this tree, keeping it a clip and grow and everything, I'm going to go ahead and just leave it like it is until, and then when I say spring, I mean spring for us is like in February, March. But, you know, one of the lessons that I've learned, and so while my intentions would be to get in and cut all these growing tips off and say late February, early March, something like that. If I don't have the time, I don't have the time. It might have to wait till spring break. It might have to wait till summertime. Either way, the trees will be nice and healthy by then. Can't wait to catch up with it and see what it looks like whenever I do start the leaf reduction.